All right, so you're thinking about moving to Austin, Texas, or maybe it's not Austin, Texas in general. Maybe it's just somewhere in Central Texas. One of the best suburbs in Austin may have caught your eye. Well, guys, you found the right video, you found the right YouTube channel. Chris Peshek here. I'm a broker associate at Peshek Properties. Been living in Austin since '99, been a realtor here since 2011, and I've got a little bit of knowledge on the area. And this is the latest installment on my series of videos about the 6 best suburbs around Austin. And let me tell you this, Taylor, Texas is a cool place. I am standing right out here in front of Louis Miller's Barbecue. Guys, Louis Miller was making barbecue when Aaron Franklin probably was not even born yet. This is an old school Texas barbecue place. Still make it on an old brick pit. They had some issues with it a few years ago, but this is what Taylor's known for. Taylor, Texas is an old farming town, farming community, and it's been that way forever. You know, the town, let's be honest, the town had seen better days until recently. I mean, a lot of the downtown area was run down and you know, it needed a little bit of help. And the way that Austin's growing, Taylor now all of a sudden has seen a huge resurgence. And we'll talk about one of the main reasons behind that. But I just want to start out by letting you know that Taylor is on the northeast side of Austin, got about 16,000 residents-ish in town. And while it's an old town, there's a lot of new growth and development going on. There's a lot of new businesses coming in, really nice restaurants, bar scene downtown. It's got a great live music scene. And if you know me, there's a few other reasons for that. So let's jump into the 6 reasons that I think Taylor is one of the best suburbs in all of Austin. And oh yeah, reminder, guys, if you're thinking about moving to Austin, and it doesn't matter if it's 9 days, 90 days, 9 months, give me a call, reach out to me, and I would love to sit down with you, find out what are your goals around moving to Austin. Is this something that you're looking to retire to? Do you need to be near a certain business or something like that? Let's have a talk. So call me, text me, reach out on Zoom. All that information's down below. But for right now, let's go talk about what makes Taylor such a cool spot. Now, I did mention that Taylor was a farming community. It had its fair share of ranching too, but Taylor, I'm walking down Main Street right now, and technically it's not Main Street, it's 2nd Street, but I'll give you a look at some of the old buildings behind me. So the downtown area is being reinvigorated right now, and that's one of the things though that makes this one of the best 6 suburbs of Austin, in my opinion, is just that small town community feel. If you've seen some of the other videos I've done, you know, I've got some on Georgetown, Bastrop. I love these old Texas downtown areas. I grew up in a really, really small town in Texas, and it feels like home, right? You still have that small town feel, even though 16,000 residents, and that's growing. That was as of the last census. And there's a lot of residents here that are going to say, no, it's not small town anymore. But this is still a small town when you think about just the general things that are going on around Austin. You've got just your local spots that people tend to hang out, locals tend to hang out. You got Lucy's Cafe, Louis Miller Barbecue I mentioned earlier, and don't try to find Louis Miller on a Sunday. It's still small town. They shut down on a Sunday. That's how you know when you're in small town Texas. The restaurants are shut down on Sundays. But anyway, just the feel of the town. Now, on the outskirts, it is growing very, very quickly. There's a lot of new homes being constructed. We've got major industry coming in because Austin is growing out so fast. But again, number one thing why Taylor is what it is it's that small town feel. All right, so before I get on to number 2, I got to remind you, this is a real estate channel. I'm going to talk about the housing market here and real estate in general. So make sure you stick around for that if that's the reason that you're here. And I assume you are because it's a real estate channel. Guys, I am outside of City Hall over here under the Farmers Pavilion at Heritage Square. This is they've got car shows and different things throughout the year, festivals, stuff like that. And just a really cool, again, when it's a smaller town like this, you've got cool park spaces like this that people hang out in, and that there's different festivals throughout the year. So that goes back to that number 1, that small town experience. But number 2 on the list of why Taylor's one of the top 6 suburbs has got to be the job opportunities. Okay, we're close to Austin. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. We're also very, very close, probably 20 to 25 minutes from the Tech Ridge area in Austin with all the tech companies that are up there. And this is when I'm going to talk about the major industry that's coming in. If you have not heard, Samsung is in the process of building $17 billion with a B, a $17 billion facility just south of Samsung down here. The amount of industry that's coming in as a result of that plant is absolutely insane. I've heard people talk all about how Samsung is essentially going to build their own city. It's going to be like Samsung City in Taylor, movie theaters, housing, and all of that stuff. But the developers are coming into Taylor right now and building a lot of new houses. So there's a lot of construction opportunity. I've talked in other videos about how there's a lot of higher education, healthcare stuff going on up here in the North Austin area. We're just to the east side of North Austin. And by the way, if you're thinking about starting a business to try to get some of that Samsung, some of the like residual overflow business that's coming out of there, Taylor's an amazing spot to find warehouse space. Yeah, I've shown you some of the old buildings. There's still old buildings that are for sale down here. You can find a really cool spot down here and not spend as much money as you would in Austin to start your business. So from the perspective of job opportunities, there is opportunity all over the place, and it starts and ends with what Samsung is doing here and all of that residual business that's coming as a result of that. So that's the number 2, job opportunities in Taylor, Texas. All right, let's move on to number 3. All right, now before I get to number 3, guys, if this is the kind of content that you're looking for, give me a like and a subscribe. And if you're interested in it, click that little bell notification. That way, when I bring you content like this, you're the first one to know. You can check it out immediately. But number 3 for Taylor, the things that make it a great suburb is when you're in Taylor, there's plenty to do. Okay. I'm here at Bull Branch Park. Got a great, you can see the lake behind me. I'm on this cool little pier, beautiful place to hang out. See the water tower there behind me. We've got Little League fields back over here. So this is a normal city park. And there's, like I mentioned, there's 3 or 4 city parks here. You've got the skate park that I drove by a while ago and things like that to do here. But if you ever get bored of Taylor, number 3 is the proximity to downtown Austin. You're about 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes from downtown Austin, or from basically any part of Austin. I'm in Dripping Springs, which is on the complete other side of Austin, and it's about an hour and 5 minutes to get all the way here. So you have access to just about anything in Central Texas within an hour drive. So, you know, whether you want to go downtown for upscale dining or for some shows, you know, at the movie theater or something like that downtown, Antone's or Continental Club, you know, check out some live music, you can do that. If you want to go to check out any of the art installations, art exhibits in downtown Austin, you can do that. If you want to run up to Georgetown and go to IKEA, something like that, to go shopping, you've got all of that. So Taylor, the proximity to Austin is really, really good. You're on the east side, and like I mentioned, it is the northeast side, but you've got 130, which is the toll road that goes around the east side of Austin. To the south, you can take it to the airport, so you're about 35 minutes to the airport to the south. You can take 130 toll road up to the north, catch I-35 north of Georgetown and get to Dallas. Dallas is about 2 hours and 45 minutes, 3 hours from here. Houston's about 3 hours. San Antonio's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So Taylor is just a good location with its proximity, not only to Austin for everything that is in Austin, but also everything else in Central Texas and really outside of Central Texas when you think about DFW and Houston. And like I mentioned at the very beginning of this, living in Austin's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be in that hectic lifestyle, you know, elbow to elbow with your neighbors and stuff like that. Taylor allows you to get outside of that, but also keep a close proximity. That way, if you do want to do those things, like my wife and I, sometimes we like to go down to Town Lake, you know, go eat on South Congress at Perla's or something like that, you know, catch a restaurant that we can't quite catch in Dripping Springs that we miss when we used to live in Austin, but also we don't have to live in Austin with 1.3 million other people or whatever that number is at this point. So again, number 3 for Taylor. Why is it one of the top 6 suburbs of Austin? It's because of proximity to Austin. All right, let's go take a look at number 4. All right, getting ready for number 4 here. Now, there's a place in Colorado Springs, Colorado called the Idlewild School, or maybe it's Ivy Wild. Anyway, it's one of them. It is a really old school, and they've brought in a brewery and distillery and restaurants and stuff like that. Well, as I'm getting ready to kick off number 4 here, I'm going to introduce you to Old Taylor High. They did something really similar here. There's shops in here, there's little restaurants, cafes, there's an arcade, stuff like that. So the Taylor School District sold this, and it has been turned into a little shops. This is the old high school. Now they've rebuilt the high school out a little bit further out of town, but this is the old high school here in Taylor. And number 4, the reason that Taylor is a great suburb is because of the schools. If you go to niche.com, TEA website, any of the websites that track school rankings, Taylor is always rated very, very well. And you know, it's a small school district still. They are, by the way, the reason I was showing those ducks is because they are the Taylor Ducks. That is the mascot. But it is a really good school district. It is a small school district. You know, if you don't want to put your kids in Austin ISD, which has, I think, 13 high schools at this point, or any of the 6A school districts, Westlake and Lake Travis and Georgetown and all of those, you might want to consider Taylor for your kiddos. It is a smaller school district. Class sizes are smaller. It's rated very highly. Most of the teachers live here locally, which is a cool thing, and that's something you don't always get. Like, there's a lot of teachers that can't live in Dripping Springs or in Eanes or even in Austin, so they have to commute in from out of town, and you're dealing with, you know, teachers that aren't always in the best mood because they're dealing with traffic and stuff, right? So Taylor does not have that problem. You know, really good school district, really strong academics, really strong athletics. Everything is there for you. It's small enough that you can participate in a bunch of different sports if you are a kid, but also participate at a very, very high level, because Taylor does participate and compete at a high level out here. So that is number 4. And as I'm saying that, I'm going to turn around and show you. There's also a little food court out here. And this is in the middle of the day on a Wednesday, guys. So there's stuff to do in Taylor all the time. But the reason number 4 you might want to consider Taylor, and the reason I think it's a great suburb, is because of the school district and how good that district is. Sun's getting low and bright today, but before we jump to number 5, a couple of real quick reminders. Number 1, I am going to get to some houses here. Stick with me. I'm going to show you what you can afford to buy in Taylor, and you might be shocked. It's a very affordable town. And number 2, again, if you're still with me at this point, let's be honest, you're enjoying this content, go ahead and subscribe so you can stay on top of what I'm doing to bring you what's happening and where to live in the communities in and around Austin. So the number 5 thing that makes Taylor one of my favorite suburbs in Austin is things to do nearby. Look, no place is absolutely perfect. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I love being outside. I love hiking, I love biking, I love fishing and kayaking and all that other stuff, right? I'm in another park here. We're in Murphy Park now, which is, again, has another beautiful lake here. You've got these amazing cypress trees up behind me. Great cottonwood tree up behind me here, and it's beautiful here. But what Taylor doesn't have, at least that I found, and you know what, if I'm wrong on this, let me know. Stick it in the comments below and tell me I'm an idiot. Because, you know, let's be honest, I've only been to Taylor a couple of dozen times maybe, and spent a few hours here each time. But what it doesn't have for my taste is that real outdoor feel. The long hike and bike trails, you know, the big lakes you can get out and do some kayaking or even motorboat and what do they call it? The surfing and all of that stuff behind the boats. You really can't do that here, but it is nearby a lot of cool stuff. If you saw my video on Georgetown, you know that we've got San Gabriel River running nearby. There's a ton of stuff to do, fishing and all on the San Gabriel, a lot of hiking and things like that. You're really close to the hill country, Fredericksburg and all the hike and bike trails out there, Johnson City, Reimers Ranch, stuff like that. All of that is within, Fredericksburg's a little more than an hour, but everything else is within an hour. You've got a lot of lakes out here, Lake Georgetown, Lake Long, Lake Belton, and there's other ones that I'm forgetting, not to mention Town Lake, Lake Austin and Lake Travis, which are right there on the Colorado River. So even though Taylor may not have everything, in terms of getting outdoors. It has enough to keep you occupied most of the time, but then when you need that little bit bigger adventure, you're so close to the other stuff and things to do, and that's just outdoor stuff to do. If you like to shop, I mentioned a while ago, in proximity to Austin, you've got all the shopping you could ever want. All up and down I-35 from Salado, which is north of Georgetown, all the way down to San Marcos, which is on the way to San Antonio. So you've got all the shopping that you need, movies, heck, Dell Diamond. If you're a baseball fan, it's a AAA Astros affiliate right out here in Round Rock. Dell Diamond's a great place to spend a summer night going and watching baseball, and they've got a bunch of live music events out there. Old Settlers Music Festival is just right down the road. Kalahari, which is a huge indoor water park, is just down the road in Round Rock as well. So if you can't stay occupied, places like Murphy Park here in Taylor, you've got so many options of things to do nearby. It's not even funny. So the number 5 thing is available things to do nearby. Let's go take a look at number 6. Okay, guys, the number 6 thing that makes Taylor one of the top 6 suburbs of Austin is the affordability of the housing here. Okay, I told you, it's a real estate channel. We're going to take a look at some houses. So what I've got for you, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I'm going to do 3 houses, 3 different price points. I'm going to start out pretty low, and we're going to go up to over $1 million. But I could not pass up this opportunity at the introduction to explain to you just how small Taylor is. I've told you 16,000 people, and you know, it's growing very quickly. So I'm right here at the beginning of one of the neighborhoods I'm going to show you. Right behind me is the new Taylor High School. You might be able to see the football stadium back over there. And you can see we're going into this subdivision here. You got brand new houses. But if you can see, and I don't know if you can with the sun, but right back over there, if you can see, there are a ton of cranes, okay? I mentioned to you, there's a little company here by the name of Samsung. Let me see if my head will block the sun. Maybe that'll make it better for you. There's a little company here by the name of Samsung that's building a giant $17 billion manufacturing facility. That's it. The thing's like a mile from the high school. It's right next to these houses. In fact, this community that I'm going to show you right now is the cheapest community, brand new homes that I could find in Taylor. And so that's why I'm showing it to you, because it's that close to Samsung. And I've mentioned all the other things, 35 minutes to the airport, 40-ish minutes to downtown. You've got great schools and everything else. Let's go see the houses you can buy in Taylor, Texas. Okay, so let's get this started. 3 different houses you can buy, 3 different price points. The first one, guys, is going to be right at $300,000. Then we're going to go just over $500,000, and then right at $1 million. So what will $300,000 buy you in Taylor, Texas? Well, like I mentioned, this neighborhood is right across the street from the high school. You see it over there behind my Jeep. You see Samsung. Hopefully you can see with the sun all the cranes right over there, a mile away basically. And what $300,000 will buy you is a brand new house. They are just now putting the flat work in here. So this house could close in 30 days, probably less, but this is what we're looking at. Now, is it big? No, 1,326 square feet. For $300,000, guys, that's $225 a square foot. Brand new house. You're going to get a 1-year, basically bumper to bumper warranty. You're going to get a 2-year on your mechanicals, your AC, things like that, appliances, and then you're going to get a 10-year foundation warranty on this thing too. So you're getting a brand new house. You're getting all the warranties. It is a 2-bed, 2-bath. Does that fit everybody? No. But if you need a house quickly, will this do for a couple of years? If you're planning on being here for a while, will this house do for a couple of years until you can move up to something bigger and then keep this one as a rental? Because guess what? If you've seen my channel for a while, I've been telling you, and the analysts that I talk to have been telling me, Taylor, Texas, Austin, the entire area, our prices are not going to be dropping. This thing's going to continue to appreciate in value. Rents are going to continue to go up. So why not, if you need something quickly, move into something small, then keep it as a rental property, because guess what else is going nowhere? Samsung is not going anywhere. You don't spend $17 billion on a manufacturing facility to leave. This house is going to be valuable moving forward. So move into something like this. And then when you need to upsize, or if you need to move the area, hang on to it, get a rental management company and have them take care of it for you. Finish out is going to be, it's going to be good. This, it'll have quartz countertops, painted cabinets, luxury vinyl plank floors. This one does have a garage. You can see it's a detached garage in the back. That's a really, really cool feature here. It is a one-car garage because the house is a 2-2, so it's small, but you do have a garage here. So even if you're coming from a 4-bedroom house and you got a bunch of junk you need to store, it can go into the garage. You got built-in storage. And again, you're in a community that is just starting. That's the cool thing about this community. People ask, what's the best investment in real estate? I say go find a community that's building brand new houses that's just starting and buy one of the first houses in there, because I say it all the time. Builders always increase their prices as they sell more houses. That's how they continue to make higher and higher profits. So take advantage of it. Buy a house in a community that's just starting out in a great location right next to the high school. That's great for rent. Right next to Samsung. That's great for rent. And then keep it as a long-term investment. So there you go. There's one. Oh, and by the way, there are a lot of houses in here. There's bigger houses in this community. They'll go up to about $500,000. But I wanted to give you an idea of what you could get at the bottom end of Taylor for a brand new house. Can you find cheaper housing in Taylor than $300,000? Absolutely you can. That's easy to find. Now, is it going to need some work? Yep. Is it older? Absolutely. But again, you can find cheaper if you need to. This is just what $300,000 will buy you. And again, brand new house. Now, let's go to that next price point up to just over $500,000. See what that'll do for you. Guys, you know what? Before we go on to that $500,000 house, I noticed something about this house and I need to show it to you because this is a very well-designed community. So I'm right next to the house next door to it over here. This is the driveway coming in from the street back there. You can see my Jeep. And here's the garage next door. But also look where the garage is behind it. Okay. What they did is they offset these garages, even though the lots are small, they've offset these garages to give you as much privacy as humanly possible. And I'm going to stand right here in the middle of the backyard and show you. Okay. Here's the house I was just showing you at $300,000. Here's the neighbor's garage on one side. Here's the neighbor's garage behind you. You've just got that little bit of space that's going to have a privacy fence right there. Just like you have back over here, a little bit of privacy fence. And then your garage is here. Now, are you going to have views? No, you're not going to have views, but for $300,000, don't expect views in Austin. But what you're going to have is a backyard with some privacy. That doesn't exist in a lot of communities. Remember, most houses here, the garages are going to be attached. They're going to be on the front of the houses. And in the backyard, you're just going to be surrounded by privacy fences. If you have, privacy fences, usually it's privacy fences, but you're just going to be surrounded by privacy fences and no privacy because they're only 6 foot tall. But here, look, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 garages. You have very little direct access to your neighbor's backyard. I thought that was worth mentioning. I like construction. I kind of geek out on it at times. And when I see things that I was like, somebody knew what the hell they were doing, I just wanted to show it to you. Let's go take a look at that $500,000 house. Okay, so here we go for our second house. Now I mentioned a little bit higher price point and the sun's gonna mess with me a little bit, but this house is listed at $520,000. Now, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the area. Right over here behind me, if you remember from earlier, that is the City Hall. And then here is Heritage Park back over here. So this is right downtown. And I've mentioned that Taylor is a little bit of an older town, right? It's an old farming community, old ranching community. Well, one of the reasons some people like to be in towns like this is because of this house. And I'm going to give you a look at the house next door. Very cool, right? So this house was built in 1880, okay? 1880. This is an old house and it's completely renovated. It sits on about a 1/4 acre. It's right down here close to Main Street. But as I'm walking, check this out, okay? And this is why you want this 1/4 acre lots. Big old pecan trees in the front yard. big pecan trees in the backyard as I try not to trip over the sidewalk. And you can see behind me, there is a sidewalk in front of these proper. It's got big grassy areas in front and on the side. But this is the house that I'm talking about right here, okay? 2,120 square feet, 4-bed, 2-bath. Remember, 1880, it's probably been renovated a few times, but it still only has 2 baths. So there's some things you give up. But if you want to live in an old house, guys, this house is older than what I grew up in. I grew up in a house that was built in the early 1900s, like 1908, 09, 10. This house is older than what I grew up in, and it's cool. Single story house, like you can see. You've got renovations happened on the inside. This thing is ready to go. So what can you buy in Taylor? Go try to find a house that's fully renovated in downtown Austin, or anywhere in Austin for that matter, for $520,000. Guys, it's $245 a square foot. That is a great buy. And again, that's what one of the things or that's the reason that Taylor is so affordable. You can buy cool old houses like this for not a lot of cash. And you've got all the other things that I've talked about in the video are all really, really close to this. I mean, heck, there's 3 city parks counting Heritage Park right here. There's 3 city parks within 5 minutes of this. They're all like, if you're a runner, you can run to all of the city parks here. So anyway, this is number 2. Let's go take a look at that third house up at that $1 million price point. We're going to take a look at it now. Now, like I mentioned, took a look at 300,000, took a look at 520. Now let's get up over $1 million and see what you can buy in Taylor. Without giving it all away, I'll kind of steer this around a little bit. Guys, this is out in the country a little bit. This is technically Byersville, Texas, which you may not even find on a map, but we are about 10 minutes from Taylor, about 10 minutes from Samsung, about 10 minutes from the high school. So this is just kind of on the other side, a little bit southeast of Taylor proper. What is $1,200,000 going to buy you? This is 1.2 million, okay? It's going to buy you a brand new home. You're going to have 6 acres. You can have shops and horses and other animals and all this other stuff. You can see behind me where the Jeep is. This is a fully fenced, gated access. And this house was built in 2022, so it's been sitting on the market a little bit. Does that mean it's overpriced and it can be had at a better deal than 1.2? Very possible. But it was built as a spec home, which means it's speculative. The builder was building it so he could sell it to somebody. There wasn't a buyer in mind for it. But here, I'll just give you kind of some things. They've got nice landscaping in. By the way, all of this is Bermuda grass, which is what major subdivisions put in the yard. So there's Bermuda grass here. Now there's some weeds. Obviously, it's been here, completed since 2022. So it's been here for a year. So there's some weeds in there, but that can be taken care of. You got nice landscaping. They put in big trees with rocks surrounding the trees and stuff like that. But let's take a look at what 2,700 square feet, 5-bed, 3-bath. I would call this a contemporary ranch style house. I wouldn't say that it's a farm style, but check it out. I think they did a pretty good job. You got the dark windows, you got the nice contemporary doors here, you got transom windows up in a closet over here, and also above these bedroom windows, you've also got those same transoms. So this thing is covered with natural light inside. You can see from the finish out's beautiful. It is immaculate. You know what? This builder just probably got a little bit out over his skis and figured that the market was going to be here a little bit sooner than it was. The market's not quite here for this house yet, but I'm going to tell you what, it's coming. And I've said it a number of times that Austin, our housing market's not going to, there's not a bubble here, okay? It's not going to break. When you're Samsung and you're building as big of a facility and bringing in 10, 15, 20,000 employees, and by the way, for every employee comes in, on average, that's 2.6 people that move to an area. So let's say it's 10,000. Well, that's 26,000 people that are coming to Taylor, Texas, just for Samsung. And that's not counting the other 4 jobs for every one of those jobs that comes in. Guys, Taylor is going to blow up. This is not a housing bubble. This $445 a foot is going to go up. Now, is it going to appreciate as fast as $300,000 or $300,000 or that $500,000 house? No, it won't. But with those houses, you saw how close the neighbors were. Look how close the neighbors are here. I don't see a neighbor. There's a neighbor over there. Nope, sorry. That's the neighbor's tractor. I don't see a neighbor except for across the road over there. So that is what $1.2 million buys you in Taylor, Texas. Now, if you missed the video that I did on Georgetown, that would be another great one. It's up here in this same area. And likewise, I did an entire opening video with little snippets on my top 6 suburbs. Make sure you go check out that video next. And again, if you need help moving to anywhere in Central Texas, call me, email me, jump on a Zoom call. That's what I'm here for, guys. We'll talk to you on the next video.